السلام عليكم طلاب. شلونكم تسمعوني؟
وعليكم السلام دكتورة، مين اسمه؟
تمام. السلايدات واضحة، تشوفون السكرين مالتي حتى نبدي. اوكي الحمد لله تمام. خلونا نبدي. مثل ما تعرفون احنا هالمحاضرة راح نسوي فد ريفيو للمحاضرات السابقة اللي هي 6 7 8. قلنا هذه محاضرات مهمة جدا، راح نسوي فد ريفيو حتى تستفادون انتم هم، يعني بما انه احنا ما متأخرين بالمادة. اوكي، اللي عنده سؤال خليه يستغل الفرصة يسأل سؤال، اللي ما فاهم الموضوع إن شاء الله يفهمه اليوم. Okay, so the development of the head and neck, which is the lecture number 6, I think, isn't it? Yes. So we said before that the development of the head and neck is actually depends on a structure that is called pharyngeal arch. You may see that or read it in some sources or books that it says that branchial arch, okay? But we usually use pharyngeal arch, okay? So these structures, I mean the pharyngeal arch, appear in the 4th and 5th weeks of the development. Means that at the end of the first week, or I mean the beginning of this, at the beginning of the first month, or the beginning of the second month. Okay, so the development of these structures will contribute in the characteristic external appearance of the embryo. Why? Why, everybody? I'm asking a question. قلنا احنا هالاسبوع عندنا stars ان شاء الله، فاللي يجاوب على السؤال راح شو اسمه ياخذ الستارز. احمد، السؤال هو انه the pharyngeal arch, it says that the pharyngeal arch will contribute in the external appearance of the embryo, or characteristic external appearance of the embryo. I mean the pharyngeal arch. The pharyngeal arch. Who's talking? Who's talking, please? I think Muhammad. Okay, Muhammad. Yes, Muhammad. Yes, excellent, excellent. As Muhammad said that this is led to the formation of the head and neck, and this is the external characteristic appearance of the fetus itself. So it will form the face, the head, the neck, blah blah. Okay. So this is the structure of the pharyngeal arch generally. هو هذا الشكل عام الpharyngeal arch، اللي هو طبعا مرسوم، هو خيالي، لكن ممكن انه يعني اذا يشوفوه بالتشريح شيء مشابه لهذا. اوكي، so pharyngeal arch نتخيل عنه انه هو structure like this one، متكون من اجزاء number 1 2 3 4 واكو 5th and 6. 5th and 6 are fused، ملتحمين، يعني عندهم انه يشتركون في تكوين اجزاء. Okay, but we usually study 4 of them. Okay, ركز عليها. تمام. So the first pharyngeal arch, the second, third, fourth can form different structure. يعني كل pharyngeal مختلفة في الوجه والرقبة. Okay, الوجه والرقبة والرأس generally يعني. Okay. So the structure itself has components, has its own layers that form different structures. Okay, so we can say that the structure consists of arch, arch, and pharyngeal pouch. That is a structure which will separate each arch internally. Okay, شوفوا internally separate each arch, and we have from outside pharyngeal cliffs. Okay, and these cliffs will separate each arch externally. Okay, separate each arch externally. Just wait a minute. Okay. So we said that cliffs will separate each arch externally. طبعا هو each pouch كل pouch اللي هو number 1 2 3 4 عنده قابلية إنه يكون جزء مختلف من الوجه أو الرأس أو الرقبة. أوكي، كذلك للكليتات. أوكي، إذا إحنا عندنا pharyngeal arch يقدر يكون له أجزاء clefts and pouch. زين، نجي على الستراكشر نفسه يتكون من إيش؟ أوكي، مثل ما تشوفون يتكون من شغلات ثابتة موجودة في كل arch. أوكي، so each arch has its own components and its own germ layers. Okay, so we will see first of all that there are endoderms. Okay, and we have ectoderm from outside, lining mesenchyme tissue, and we have also mesoderm. Okay, and some neural crystals. Okay, some neural crystals. Plus, what do we have? What do we have in each arch? We have nerve, artery, cartilage. Why do we have all these components? Because the arch needs the 3 germ layers plus neural crystals in order to form the structures like muscle, like internal structure, like external structure, external parts like the skin itself. Okay, and it needs some supply like the nerve, artery, and cartilage. Okay, this structure will form. Yes, yes, Muhammad. Yes, and the mesenchyme tissue usually have the ability right here at this level. Okay, have the ability to form other kind of structures also. I mean, other kind of tissues also. Okay. Yes, yes, exactly. Excellent. So right here, the mesenchyme tissue, we can say that it looks like germ tissue or original tissue. Okay. Okay, so that's why the mesenchyme tissue, as we said in the cliffs, it can form the eardrum. Okay. Yes, as we said, the epithelial lining at the bottom of the tissue. What's this epithelium? This is connecting to the mesenchyme, and this mesenchyme will lead to form external auditory meatus, and this meatus will form the eardrum. Okay. So as you see, it has a role in the like a germ cells. Okay. Mm-hmm. The mesenchyme itself, ectomesenchyme itself, comes from ectoderm. Okay. That's all. Yeah. You're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you for your questions. Okay. So where we stopped? We stopped in the functions of these tissues and layers with the artery and nerve with the cartilage. Okay, so let's come to the derivatives of the pharyngeal arches. طبعا تعرفون pharyngeal arch احنا قلنا arch و pouch و cliffs كل جزء من عنده. I mean each arch, each pharyngeal pouch, and each cleft can form structures. Okay, can form parts in the head and neck. Okay, so we need to know the important parts. So this is not all of it. يعني هذه مو كلها اللي راح تكونها. إذا تفتحون الكتاب راح تشوفون إنه أكو أجزاء أخرى هم نكونها، لكن إحنا أخذنا فقط. So pharyngeal arch number 1, which we call it usually mandibular arch. So I can say sometimes mandibular arch form, or what's the derivative of my mandibular arch? Who can answer? Muhammad, please, not you, someone else, okay? So what is the derivative of mandibular arch? Who can answer?
First
Adam
pharyngeal
Hamad,
arch.
Adam Hamad Saad.
First pharyngeal arch.
No. شنو هو الديريفاتيف الفارينجال mandibular arch? What is the derivatives of the mandibular arch? Just
First
look.
pharyngeal arch.
شبيكم؟ السؤال هو هعيد الشرح. احنا في pharyngeal arch we usually pharyngeal arch can also name it as mandibular arch. يعني ممكن نقول عليه mandibular arch مو pharyngeal arch number 1. فحاليا دا أسألكم سؤال هو يقول شنو هو ال derivatives أو what's mandibular arch form.
From the mesoderm, endoderm, and ectoderm.
تفهمون سؤالي لو لا؟
Two prominence, smaller upper, larger lower.
Excellent. I think Ahang, isn't it?
Yes,
Who answered?
endoderm,
Ahang,
mesoderm,
isn't
and
it?
ectoderm.
Yes, Ahang.
Yes.
What you are answering everybody. Yes, منو هاي اللي جاوب؟ اللي قالت zygomatic bone؟ مروة. Yes, Marwa. Thank you, Marwa. So Marwa answered that. Yes. Excellent. Excellent. طلاب السؤال هو يقول لك إنه بدل ما أقول لك pharyngeal arch forms بلا بلا مثلا فراغ وفراغ. What does it form? Mandibular arch. ما راح أقول pharyngeal arch أقول لكم mandibular arch. ليش؟ لأن هو نفس التسمية. Okay. فراح تذكر لي prominences that we have the maxillary prominence and mandibular prominence or smaller upper and larger lower. So you will answer as maxillary forms maxilla zygomatic bone and lower I mean the larger lower which is mandibular prominence that form the mandible. ما سألتكم شنو هو components أو what does it form the arch. Okay. فهم السؤال نص الجواب everyone. So pharyngeal arch number 2 the same we can call it hyoid arch. Okay. So I can say that what is the derivative شوفوا كم من derivatives. What is the derivative of hyoid arch?
Hyoid bone.
Hyoid bone. Yes. Yes. Excellent. بس أنا شلون أنت ستار من أنت ستار هيك يقولكم تحشون سوية. مصطفى عبد السميع. Okay. مصطفى عبد السميع رقية محمد سعد and مروة. Okay. So cartilaginous components of the 4th and 6th pharyngeal arch will fuse to form the thyroid. Look, in this case, the 4th and the 6th work together in order to form the thyroid gland. Okay. So why? Because as we say here, arch number 3 and form the next structures. So they will work together in order to form the thyroid gland. Okay. So let's come to the pharyngeal pouch. Okay, so pharyngeal pouch number 1 will form different structures that is found in the ear itself. This is related to the auditory system. Okay, so it forms a tubitympanic recesses, tympanic cavity, eustachian tube. Okay, and pouch number 2 will form palatine tonsil. 3 will form inferior parathyroid and thymus, while the pharyngeal pouch number 4 forms superior parathyroid. Okay. هذه يعني بصورة عامة لازم تحفظوها تعرفوها. يعني كلها أمثلة حتى ما ضايفين عليها خلينا نقول كل اللي يتكونها كل pouch. واضح؟ So let's come finally to the clips. طبعا الclips 1 2 3 4 كلها تكون من أجزاء مختلفة لكن let's take the pharyngeal cliff number 1. Since we said right here tubotympanic recesses, eustachian tube to tympanic cavity, look, the external that will separate each arch, externally separate each arch, that's called cleft, can form how the dorsal part of the first cleft. Look, first cleft will penetrate the underlying mesenchyme, so they will work together. And will give rise to, while the epithelial that is lining the bottom of this meatus, okay, the epithelial will participate in the formation of eardrum. Okay. So first of all, we need to have the external auditory meatus that is formed by the first cleft that is penetrating the underlying mesenchyme. Okay. And after the formation of the external auditory meatus, there will be epithelial that is lining right here. Okay, in the meatus, and this will participate in the formation of eardrum. واضح؟ عندكم سؤال؟
دكتورة،
نعم.
يعني هسه مثلا أقدر أضيف إنه من مكونات كل آرش الميزنكايم سيل، يعني إنه لأنه راح توجد إنه هي كل آرش مو بس بالفيرست، مو؟
شوفي هو underlining all the
أي.
ground. بس أنا ما أسألكم هنا the tissue itself. أريد أعرف مثلا مثلا the origin or what are the مثلا germ layers that are found in each arch. هيك يمكن أسأل. Or what are the supply points that is found in each arch, or what is the components that is found in each arch. اوكي فلازم هيك بهالشكل تجاوبوني، مو التشيو. ما اريد التشيو بهالحالة لانه هو it's already found. Okay. Yes, any question? ماكو question. Okay. نجي على المحاضرة اللي بعدها اللي هي development of the face. على فكرة هاي المحاضرات هي محاضرة واحدة في الحقيقة يعني، بس جزأناها لأنه حتى تصير أسهل عليكم. Okay. So the development of the face. Okay. So this will also starts at the end of the 4th week. Okay, means that at the end of the 1st month. And the facial prominences consist primarily from mesenchyme. Okay, look, consist primarily from mesenchyme. This is derived from what? Neural cells, means that ectoderm, and formed mainly from first pair of pharyngeal arch. As we said that the pharyngeal arch number 1 and 2 that are forming what? Who can tell me? First pair of pharyngeal arch. What is the derivatives of first pair of pharyngeal arch? zygomatic bone لا mandibular maxilla. Mandibular راح يكون zygomatic bone. Okay, at the 2 prominences. Okay, so excellent. What's your name? نجاوبني. لقمان ايش؟ لقمان ايش؟ لقمان احمد هيثم. Okay, thank you. So the structure contributing in the formation of the face consists of prominences. Okay, some prominences. عندنا بروزات. هذه البروزات راح تكون الأجزاء الموجودة في الوجه. Okay, parts in the face or structures that is formed in the face. So the prominences, you need to memorize it, and you need to memorize the structures that are formed by these prominences. Okay, so sometimes a prominence can form another prominence, and this prominence that will develop to form that structure. Okay, يعني هو prominence هو بروز يقدر يكون بروز آخر، وهذا البروز later on راح يصير بنمو أو خلينا نقول تطور وراح يكون لنا الجزء المراد في الوجه. Okay. So frontonasal prominence. Frontonasal prominence اللي هو هذا. تمام. راح يكون forehead. تمام. Bridge of the nose. Medial and lateral nasal prominence. اوكي. راح يكون شوفوا هنايا. عندنا frontonasal prominence راح يكون لنا forehead. اوكي. and راح يكون bridge of the nose and lateral nasal prominence with medial nasal prominence. واضح؟ حاولوا تقروها على الصورة. طبعا هذه هي 5-week embryo, and this one is 6-week embryo. So the difference is 1 week between them. Okay, so this will gradually separate and form other parts that is found in the face, and this face will develop to form the final face of the fetus. Okay, to be shaped. اللي اجى من ايش؟ من يا pharyngeal arch. اللي جاوب ممكن تنطي مجال اللي قبلك اللي بعدك. اوكي، اللي جابوا لا يجاوبون. Maxillary prominence من ايش اجى؟ What's the origin of maxillary prominence?
First pharyngeal arch.
كلكم تحكون سوي، يعني شلون راح اعرف من اللي يجاوب؟ اوكي. First pharyngeal arch. So first pharyngeal arch will form maxillary prominence, and maxillary prominence will form structures. Okay, which structures? Cheeks, lateral portion of the upper lip. Okay, cheeks and lateral portion from the upper lips. So look at here. This is a maxillary prominence, and form the upper lip, lateral part of upper lip, and lateral portion of the upper lip, and with the cheeks. Okay, medial nasal. Let's see, what is it? Medial nasal prominence. Look, this is another. احنا أخذناها lateral nasal prominence formed from frontonasal, and we have here medial nasal prominence. This will form philtrum of the upper lip and crest, and with the tips of the nose. Okay, so not found in the picture. So let's say lateral nasal form the area of the nose. So a mandibular prominence that is formed by pharyngeal arch number 1 form the lower lip. Form the mandibular prominence that will form the lower lip. Okay, واضحة؟ So let's see the development of the tongue. So the tongue begins to develop at about 4th week of embryonic development, and naturally is a proliferation process of what? Of the mesenchyme tissue. And this will give rise, this proliferation. What does it mean, proliferation? Who can tell me? What does it mean, proliferation? What do we mean by proliferation?
Increase the size and number of cells.
Just one. One of you.
Increase the size and number of the
One of the
cells.
girls, please. One of the girls. منو انتوا الاثنين اللي يحجون البنات؟
Doctor, increase in size and number of the cells.
Increase in size and number of the cells. Excellent. What's your name?
Rana Ahmed.
Rana Ahmed. Who else answered? من الثانية؟ ما سمعت صوتك. رقية انت بعدها هي سد السماعة مالتك. تمام دكتور. ولا تجاوبين بعد. اوكي. اللي خلص اسمها رنا. اوكي. والشاب اللي جاوبنا منو كان؟ Who answered?
دكتور أنا قلت spreading.
لا مو جواب صحيح. هو شنو؟ هو انه increasing. اوكي، فشي زيادة. واضح؟ زيادة بإيش؟ في عدد الخلايا وحجم الخلايا. اوكي، في عدد الخلايا وحجم الخلايا. So the proliferation is increasing in the cell size and number. Okay. So which kind of tissue or cells? We call it mesenchyme cells or mesenchyme tissue, and this will give rise to the number of swellings in the floor of the mouth. Okay, this will lead to the number of the swelling. So this one is a swelling, and this one is a swelling, this one also. So each one of them, they will fuse together and form parts of the tongue. Okay, and this tongue is firstly, before it will be separated, will be anchored or connected to the floor of the mouth. إذن اللسان يتكون من عدة swellingات. اوكي. هذا السويلنج راح يلتحم ويا الثاني، راح يكون لنا جزء من اللسان، خلينا نقول جزء مثلا المقدمة، الوسط والأخير. اوكي. ف اللسان في بداية تكوينه راح يكون متصل في قاع الفم. بعدين خلينا نقول فيما بعد راح شو يصير عنده؟ يصير عنده degeneration process، أو خلينا نقول إنه تتحلل الخلايا أو الأنسجة اللي تربط اللسان في قاع الفم، وراح يصير اللسان free from the tip. Okay, but it is still connected from the root. Okay, so and the oral part, I mean the buds. شوفوا هم أحيانا احنا نسميه swelling buds. زين، احنا نسمي هذه السويلنجات اللي تكون oral part or anterior 2/3 نسميها lateral lingual swelling اللي هي ذني الاثنين lateral lingual swelling, and we have also tuberculum impair in the middle part, and these three swellings will fuse to form what these swellings form together?
The tongue, right?
The oral part. Okay, not the tongue. اللي يقول tongue معناته إجابتي خاطئة. Okay, not the tongue itself, because it's the tongue itself. It's formed from parts, and this part consists of the oral part and middle part with the root one. Okay, so the oral part, I mean the anterior 2/3 is called is formed by tuberculum impair and lateral lingual swelling. Okay. The posterior part, or the root of the tongue, originate from what? From the second, third, and parts of fourth pharyngeal arch. Okay, second, third, and part of fourth pharyngeal arch. Okay, so you need to know المهم اللي هنايا when the tongue begins to form.
Upper fourth week.
Fourth week. And how the tongue form?
By the proliferation of the mesenchyme.
أعتقد أحمد أنت تجاوب، صرت أعرفكم من أساميكم،
لا
من
لا
أصواتكم.
أنا مو أحمد.
منو
أنس.
أنس. Okay, أنس. How the tongue will form? قلت لي by proliferation. Okay, proliferation of mesenchyme tissue. So what are the swellings that form the oral part? أنس هاي خلصنا وياك. سد السماعة مالتك. شكرا جزيلا. Okay. Yes. How or what are the swellings that form the oral part?
Lateral lingual swelling and the tuberculum impair.
Okay. واحدة ما عندكم أعتقد هاي، والاثنين ما أعرف منو. Anyways, so the posterior part, thank you for answering. The posterior part or root of the tongue originate from some pharyngeal arch. What are these pharyngeal arches?
Second and third and part of
بنات مو كلكم سوية، رجاء مو كلكم سوية. اللي جاوبت خلي تطفي شو اسمه السماعة مالتها، عرفناها بعد. اوكي، اللي ما مجاوبة خلي تجاوبني. منو انتوا ثلاثتكم؟ منو اللي تحجون؟ بس اعطوني مجال اعرف انتوا منو اللي تحجون. مريم. اوكي، مريم ايش؟ مريم صالح. بعد منو اللي دا تحكي؟ Who's answering?
Doctor, second and third and part of fourth pharyngeal arch.
Okay, I will leave it لأنه حتأخر إذا هيك أسوي. Okay, I will leave it. So let's come to the development of the palate. So the palate, that is the primary palate, I mean, develops about 28 days of gestation. This means so early. It starts forming too early, before the secondary palate. Okay, so this is important to know. It's the 28 days of gestation, or at the end of the first month. Okay, so palate develops from primary palate and secondary palate, as you know, and the primary palate develops from some prominences. Okay, they will process to form the part of the part of the premaxillary portion of the maxilla. Okay, so the primary palate develops from frontonasal and medial nasal. Okay, frontonasal and medial nasal. They will processes and eventually will form the premaxillary portion of the maxilla. Okay, so the secondary palate develops between 7th and 8th week of gestation. As you see right here, means that the second month, okay? And this will complete in the 3rd month, okay? And the fusion, look, this is important, the fusion of the palatal shelves, the fusion of the palatal plates, let's say, will form the maxillary prominences that will create the heart together. This fusion together will form both of them, I mean the hard and the soft palate. Okay, so as we said in the last lecture to the Karun, we need to know each part, I mean each part of the mouth formed by what kind of prominence, and the lack of fusion of them will lead to have some cliffs. This is the malformation process case. Okay, so last thing is the teeth. So teeth will arise from what? From what kind of tissue? This is the layer. I mean, which kind of tissue? Epithelial, mesenchymal. Interaction will lead to between what? Between the oral epithelium and underlying mesenchyme. These are all interact together to form the teeth, and this will be derived. شوفوا من نقول كلمة derived معناتها احنا نريد ايش؟ نريد a layer, a germ layer, or a kind of cells that is acts as a germ cells. Okay, like what? Like neural crystals. كلمة derived معناتها أريد من عندكم إنه تنطوني إيش؟ a germ cells or germ layer. Then derivatives of مثلا germ layer, مثلا what's the derivative of neural crystals, or what's the derivative of ectoderm. راح تنطوني الأجزاء اللي تتكون عن طريق هذا الgerm layer. Okay, so enamel is made by ameloblast that is like a thick on a thick layer of dentin produced by odontoblast, and this all considered as a neural crest derivative. And cementum is formed by cementoblast, and also another mesenchyme derivative, and found in the root of the tooth. واضح? So these are known by you. This is because you're already studying it in the oral histology. Let's leave it. نجي عندكم سؤال طلاب؟ آخر فرصة طبعا، أنا شرحتها لكم حتى بالعملية، أعتقد آخر محاضرة كانت هذه. 77 37 44. الجروب اللي فات حتى هسه حاليا يا جروب طلاب بي. تمام، جروب بي اكتف، فعلا اكتف. شوفوا عددكم 77. اوكي، دا اخذ ريست وانطيكم ريست همين، بس خلينا انزل لكم اللينك حتى محمد سلطان. محمد ليش كاتب اسمك هنا؟ هذا هو اللينك. كتبوا حضوركم املوا لي الفورم. الفورم واضح طلاب؟ الكل دا يشوفوه؟ Okay, let's continue with the last lecture. اللي هو شرحناه يوم الخميس. على فكرة الخميس ثاني انقطعت الكهرباء يا عمي، يعني so sorry. أعتقد آخر من محمد سعد كان يسألني سؤال. Isn't it, Muhammad? You were asking a question. No question. You are giving me a note, actually. Yeah. You know, I didn't look at it. I will look and answer because I really was thinking about it. How kind of mistakes, if it was intentional or not. Maybe it's not mistake. You know. Maybe it was not mistake. I think I did it intentionally. I think. Yeah, I think, you know, yeah, yes. Last night I was thinking about it. You know, I usually forget about everything after putting the questions or usually writing it. Okay, so just let me look at it and we will talk about it. If I did a mistake or not, because I was thinking about it last night. Okay, but I didn't have time to have a look even. Okay, I will look. Okay, because sometimes I try to have. هي شرحناها يوم الخميس اللي هي congenital malformation. So what do we mean by malformation أو congenital malformation؟ رجاء لا تحجون كلكم سوية. Congenital malformation. Not just genetic abnormality, isn't it? Yes. Excellent. Yeah. So this will relate it to some abnormalities. Okay. To some lack of formation, if it is be structural or functional, isn't it? Who can answer also? In another way, منو يقدر يجاوبني؟ شو دا أقصد أنا congenital malformation؟ Look, congenital malformation, congenital disorder, congenital anomalies or birth defects, they usually, generally, they usually give us a meaning, isn't it? Generally, not focusing on what kind of anomalies or abnormality that is found in this part, but generally, what do we mean by it? I mean, a definition. اوكي، خلال الولادة. يظهر خلال الولادة، ممكن احنا نشوفها بعد الولادة، انه نشوف البيبي انولد. اوكي، اجي اشيك عليه، خلينا نقول related to your subject، نفتح فمه انه نشوف اللسان اول شيء، صح لو لا؟ بما انه احنا ما عندنا اسنان، اول شيء نشوف اللسان، فانا راح اشوف انه اكو اشكال، صح؟ Okay, this kind of abnormality we call it congenital anomalies or congenital malformation. What happens؟ أشوف إنه أنا عندي tongue tie case. زين، فتحت فم الطفل، شفت إنه أكو أسنان. شو راح أفكر؟ سنين شفت فم الطفل، شو راح أفكر؟ Yes please. نمتوا، تعبتوا، ترى والله أنا تعبانة ها. Yes.
إنه البيبي عنده anomalies.
Anomalies. What kind of anomalies؟ برأيك هذه genetic factor لو شو اسمه environmental factor؟
genetic غير مفروض.
Genetical. Yes. Who can answer also؟ ما دارسين هاي المحاضرة صح؟ Okay. What else؟ Okay. Let me explain it. Okay. Let me explain it. Congenital anomalies, birth defects, congenital disorder or congenital malformation. شوفوا كلمة malformation. What does it mean malformation؟
هو مال يعني مثل مال occlusion، مال يعني disorder in the formation.
Disorder in the formation. Okay, who else can give me another meaning for malformation?
Mom is bad wall.
Defect. What else? هو متشوه. اوكي ثانك يو. هو تشوه طبعا، بس اريد المعنى اللي خلينا نقول الحرفي. المعنى الحرفي للمالفورميشن. واحد يعرفها؟ الحرفي، ترجمة حرفية، من يقدر يترجم لي اياها؟ سوء تشكل. سوء تشكل. اوكي. So malformation يعني انه there was a problem or there was a missing in the formation. Okay.
يعني
malformation.
تشوه.
missing هو طبعا اكيد تشوه. This will lead to have a disorder or تشوه. Okay. So malformation, there was a missing in the formation. Okay. So congenital malformation and congenital disorder, birth defects, congenital anomalies are all defined under one definition, or as we can define it. We can define it in many ways, but we will say generally that is structural or functional anomalies, including metabolic disorder, which are present at the time of the birth. Okay, so what do we mean by structural anomalies?
Abnormality in the structure.
أعطوني في المثال على structural anomalies. Give me an example for the structural anomaly.
Down syndrome, like Down syndrome.
Like this is. Yeah, these all lead to the congenital anomalies. Okay, so just give me an example for structural anomaly. يعني بالstructure عندنا فد anomaly. Down syndrome generally you are giving me there is a problem, a congenital anomaly or genetically genetically formed. So بس انطوني structural، يعني عندنا جزء من الجسم صاير به structural anomalies. هذا ال structural anomaly راح يؤدي إلى functional anomaly. الأسبوع اللي فات طبعا مو الأسبوع اللي فات، قبل يوم انطيتكم مثال.
lingual, when the lingual attached.
I just need someone to answer. Okay, please tell me your name and answer. Who is talking? Okay, someone. We need just one person to answer. لأنه كلكم تحتاجون شوية بدنا نسمعكم. لحظة، زهرة مو؟ يلا طبعا زهرة answer please. This will lead to structural this structural anomalies lead to the functional. زين، بعد مثال ثاني اللي هي راح تجيكم هسه حاليا اللي هو tongue tie case، صح لو لا؟ Tongue tie case is a structural anomaly. This will lead to have a functional anomaly. How? Because the tongue will be connected to the floor of the mouth, and this will lead to have a difficulty in the feeding case and also in the speech. تشوفون شلون هو structural وأدى إلى إيش؟ إلى حدوث تشوه إيش؟ وظيفي أيضا. واضح؟ طبعا دا أعطيكم هيك أمثلة ودا أركز هواية ودا أعيد حتى تبقى ببالكم مو تنسوها. واضح؟ اللي هي شغلات يعني مبدئية، يعني خلينا نقول بدائية. So أكيد طبعا كل case, every case had a cause, okay? And this cause for genital anomalies, congenital anomalies, sorry, not genital, congenital anomalies will be either it's genetic factor or environmental factor, or both of them combined. I mean multifactorial factor, okay? So genetic factors such as chromosomal abnormalities and mutant genes, or there will be a mutation case. Environmental factors, so many factors. One of them is can be a disease, a viral infection, or can be exposure to the radiation, and maybe medication case. Any of this environmental factor can be as a result of from outside. Okay, so combined genetic and environmental factor, we usually call it multifactorial factors. Okay, so the examples for the case of the congenital anomalies of the neck can be as cysts. Okay, and these cysts usually are filled off with the fluid. Just let me see what is happening. Okay, and in this case, I mean, these cysts that can appear at the time of the birth or later on can be appear, or maybe it's already found, but not that much, not that that type of can be appeared clearly. Okay, so the branchial cyst or thyroglossal duct with some abnormalities in the thyroid gland, ectopic thymic and parathyroid tissue. This is also can be some fluid that are aggregate in the parts of the neck, and this will lead to have a big cyst. Okay, lymphangioma or cystic hygroma with the hemangiomas. Okay, these are some fluids that came from the tissues and cells. They will aggregate in a part in this shape. Okay, this one, this is the thyroglossal cyst. This one also ectopic thymic hemangioma. Okay, so these are all can be treated by medical operations, and the physician is who can differentiate between them. Okay, by different kind of tests. So let's come to the tongue tie case, and this case is important for you to know. Is the tongue is not freed generally, or simply you can say the tongue is not freed from the floor of the mouth. يعني اللسان راح يبقى مرتبط بقاع الفم. Okay, so we said that we have some tissues that will connect the tongue to the floor of the mouth, and they will degenerate and to form, they will degenerate, but we will have just one kind of tissue that will remain, frenulum, that will anchor the tongue to the floor of the mouth from the root. But in this case, I mean the tongue tie case, or we call it usually ankyloglossia, the frenulum, the tissue, this will extend to the tip of the tongue. يعني التيشو راح يكون ممتد من قاع الفم إلى نهاية اللسان، خلينا نقول من بداية اللسان, tip of the tongue. Okay. The fascial cliffs usually are found in the lip, in the palate also. Okay, so we usually call it cleft lip and cleft palate. Both result in the defect in the facial appearance and also in the difficulty in the speech. Okay, for the newborn babies also there will be a problem in the feeding case. So we usually divide the
السلام عليكم. ستبان. السلام عليكم. مرخص الستبان.
نعم.
السلام عليكم. طلاب جاكم تبليغ تغيرون صوركم الشخصية، الوزارة راح تزوركم ترى. بكر إذا عندك. على واتساب. اوكي. الصور تكون واضحة، يعني هسه الأمامي أنتم هاي الشعب هسه اختاريتكم. يعني صور مو واضحة. اكو طلاب صورهم مو واضحة، يعني رجاء تغيرون صوركم يعني. لا إسراء.
others not specific.
اوكي
The
الكل
specific
بدون
one
استثناء
is
الصور واضحة.
بس
آية هو
مدرسين
آية هو
شلون قرأتوها
آية
الأمثلة
لقمان
شلون
تخلين صورة
تحلوها
أهان تديرين صورة هاي كلكم
بس في
اللي دا أحكي وياكم بلا زحمة عليكم
شلون قرأتوا
الوزارة
الأمثلة
طلب من
أصلاً
الوزارة
يحلوا اشتقاقات
لأنه هاي تروح للوزارة يعني كلها. شكرا جزيلا
شلون
شكرا
شلون
ستوان
يعني
عيني شكرا.
أهلا وسهلا أستاذ، أهلا بك. Okay, everyone, let's continue. We said that the fascial clits are usually divided to anterior and posterior clits. Okay, حتى يصير سهل عندنا. The anterior part have some kind of clips that can be seen as in the lip, in the jaw, and also in the palate. Okay, so قبل هذا همينة كنت أعرفون في الشغلة إنه إحنا usually whenever we see the clips is in one side نسميه شو نسميه؟ Who can answer? Lateral cliff. Okay, lateral هم صح.
Unilateral.
مصطلح ثاني unilateral. أعتقد
Unilateral.
ahang. Who else? Anyways, زهرة. Okay. So إذا كان في بجهة واحدة نسميها unilateral, but if it was in the two parts, I mean in the two side, we call it bilateral. Bilateral. Okay. So first of all, we have a lateral cleft lip and we have cleft upper jaw in the upper part. Okay, since we say it's in the anterior part, so cleft between primary and also secondary palate. Okay, this is usually can be said also in the incisive foramen part. Okay, so we need to know the reason for this cleft. As I said, you need to know the prominences that form this part, and whenever you add the lake of fusion, this will lead to the reason. So due to partial or complete lake of fusion of what? Of maxillary prominence on one or both sides. Okay, but while the and this is also because of the lake of fusion of the palatine shells. And another kind of cleft or abnormality can be seen in the uvula, and the reason for this is usually environmental factors, like the mother is a smoker or some kind of, sorry, let me show you this one. This is the cleft uvula. Okay, بالعربي شو يسموها لهات أو لسان المزمار, one of it. So there will be a kind of cleft right here, and this is usually to the due to the environmental factor, as I said. So just look at here. For this one is the normal. This is the incisive foramen, the primary palate, and uvula. Okay, if we have a cleft right here in one side, we call it unilateral cleft lip. And as you see, we can say it's extending to the nose. واضح? The second kind of the cleft is also unilateral cleft lip. Okay, and this is extending to the jaw. I mean, in the lip, extending to the nose with the jaw, and also found in the incisive foramen. Also, look at here. This is extending to the whole part of the interior part. The D one, as you see, there it is bilateral cleft lip, found in the lip, in the jaw, and also in the incisive foramen. Okay. As you see, it's in each side. So this case is also lead to have a problem in the speech, and also in the feeding, also maybe in the respiration. Okay. And the last, not last one, before the last one, we have a cleft in the palate, and also this case is in the whole. It's unilateral cleft lip, jaw, incisive foramen with the palate. Okay, واضحة ولا واضحة? Is it clear? Any question?
Clear.
Okay. in the oblique fascial cleft. And oblique fascial cleft. This is usually happen due to the failure of the maxillary prominences. Okay, and this will, I mean, this is due to the merge with its corresponding lateral nasal prominence, and there will be a lack of fusion also between the maxillary and the lateral nasal prominence. So we can see that nasolacrimal is usually expanded to the surface. Just search about some pictures and you can see the case itself. It's just like this one. Okay, can be even يعني ممكن تصير أسوأ حالة، أسوأ إنه تمتد يكون الأنف أو هذا الجزء كله يعني معرض إلى الهواء الخارج. يعني طبعا هذا الكيس إنه fixed by a medical operation. Okay. The last one is medial clit lip. This one is rare, caused by incomplete merging of two medial nasal prominences in the midline. Just look at this case, this one. Okay, so the A one, what is the case for this one? Who can diagnose it?
Lateral cleft lip.
Unilateral cliff lip. Okay, unilateral cliff lip. What about this one?
Bilateral cliff lip.
Bilateral cliff. This is in the lip. Okay, I think it's also extended to the jaw. Okay, what about this case?
Palate.
Cleft palate. And this one is midline cleft lip. اوكي، شلون اجيبها بالامتحان؟ طبعا اجيب صور خارجيه ايضا مختلفه جدا. انت بهالحاله لازم تعرف تشخص الكيس، اذا كان cleft palate، اذا كان in the lip, in the jaw, in the midline. Anyways, you need to study each case and focus on it in order to have ability to diagnose the case. واضح؟ نجي آخر شيء اللي هو tooth abnormalities. طبعا إيش عندنا tooth abnormalities؟ ممكن عندنا natal teeth. natal teeth، شنو هي حالة natal teeth؟ Who can tell me?
When the baby is born with some teeth, or in the first months of his age.
Excellent, excellent, thank you. We have also some abnormalities in the number. I mean, a medicine like tetracycline. Just look at this case. Okay, and what else? Maybe we have a deficient in what? In enamel, caused by what? By deficiency of the vitamin D, and many factors other can be included in the genetic factors or maybe in the environmental factors. Okay, so any question, everyone? No question? Everything is clear, I think. واضح؟ نعم. ما منزلتها، أدري والله. أنزلها إن شاء الله. إن شاء الله أنزلها. أوكي. تمام. شكرا. بعد إيش عندكم سؤال؟ Any question؟ ما نتوقف، نستمر إن شاء الله، بس ما تكون داخل الامتحان. خلونا نخلص. ليش نتوقف؟ نخلص المنهج، إن الدنيا راح تنقلب. لا، ما راح تدرسوها بعدين. ليش؟ مجرد تاخذون شو اسمه عليه، يعني مو ما راح تدرسوها، سوري، ما راح تمتحنون بيها يعني، فعادي ما تتكون. Yes everyone. Any question؟ دخلتوا حضوركم كلكم؟ لأنه راح أغلق شو اسمه الفورم. 148. أكو أحد هنا حاليا ما دخل حضوره؟ أربعة وثلاثين، 64، 98، 130. شلون صار عددكم يجي هواية؟ 150. anyways راح أسدها وبعد ما أقبل أحد لأنه أكو داخلين وكتبون حضورهم. okay so any question؟ ماكو question صح ولا لا؟
دكتورة
نعم.
التونج تاعي راح تكون functional congenital مو structural لأن راح يتأثر بس
structural and
بالوظيفة
functional. structural and
التونج تاعي.
functional. هو structural هو functional. ليش؟ لأنه إحنا عندنا في الإشكال بالstructure صح ولا لا؟ ما عندنا هو أكو شغلة مو طبيعية بالstructure.
بس يعني هي ما أثرت على اللسان كستراكشر يعني إنه كامل، هي مجرد بإنه تكون ملتصقة بس بالتip of the tongue الفرينيولم، يعني هل
هو هذا
راح
شيء
تكون
طبيعي؟
structure؟
برأيك شيء طبيعي بstructure
هو مو
اللسان؟
طبيعي، راح يأثر على الفانكشن يعني إنه خاصة بالنطق أو راح
إذا هو
يكون
structure صح؟
structure. أي صح.
أنتِ شو تفكرين؟ ما اقتنعتي بيها؟
مو قصدي يعني إنه عادي أكو بيهم يعني إنه يستمرون بها ما تضر، يعني إنه أنا
إيه
فهمت
أكيد.
إنه structure راح تضر، يعني إنه من يكون
كيسات.
structure.
أكو كيسات صح ولا لا؟ التنكتاي إذا كيسات أحيانا يكون ملتصق تماما أحيانا يكون لا. يعني حسب الحالة أوكي. بس هو إذا شفتيه يعني هو structural ومو شيء طبيعي إنه اللسان يلتصق بقاع الفم صح ولا لا؟
إيه صح. أعتقد بس إذا يضر إنه يكون مضرة بمضرة يكون structural، بس إذا ما يكون بس هي تمام مظبوط.
yes yes
شكرا دكتور.
you're welcome. okay everyone اللي ما عنده سؤال ممكن يتفضلي يطلع من الميكس. تفضلي زهرة.